Hello, everyone, and welcome to Amara's Voice. I'm a teacher and an uplifter, which means I see people as already whole, see them as vibrant, joyful, magnificent, and powerful. I see the source within them, which leads them to a powerful truth from within. I see them living in alignment with self, having such wonderful beliefs that make them stay in their joyful, natural element. Today, I'm pondering imagination. Now, imagination is defined on the internet as the cognitive ability to form mental images, ideas, or concepts of objects, people, situations that are not present to the senses or have never been experienced in reality. It is a creative, generative process used for problem solving, artistic creation, and imagining potential futures. This all sounds good, but it's very one-sided. They are right in their definition, but only looking to one side of the coin. A radio does not create music. The music already exists as frequencies in the air. The radio simply tunes into a specific frequency and then translates it into something you can hear. Now, imagination is your inner tuner. It is your ability to select, access, and experience a frequency that already exists. But instead of translating it into sound like a radio, your mind translates it into images, feelings, sensations, and inner knowing. Imagination is not fantasy, it is tuning. It is the way we access realities before they become visible, or the way we align with versions of ourselves that already exist, and the way we gently shift our entire being onto a new frequency or stay on the same frequency. So, imagination is the tuning of your awareness to a version of reality that already exists, experienced internally before it is perceived externally, and is always guided by the beliefs you hold. Just like 98.7 station is already playing whether you tune in or not, that reality is already playing whether you focus on it or not. Imagination is you saying, I choose to listen to this. So if imagination is tuning, then the question becomes, what exactly are you tuning into? Because many people believe imagination is something you do. But what if imagination is something you receive? Think about this. You've imagined things before that felt so real, so detailed, so alive, and yet you've never physically lived them. Where did that come from? Because you cannot perceive something that doesn't exist in some form. Just like a radio cannot play a station that isn't broadcasting, you cannot imagine a reality that doesn't exist. So imagination is not you creating from nothing. Imagination is you becoming aware of something. You are tuning into a version of yourself, a life, a moment that is already happening. This is why some imaginations feel light, some feel exciting, some feel peaceful, and others feel heavy, fearful, and wanted. Because you are always tuning, even when you're not aware of it. So the goal is not to imagine better, the goal is to become aware of what you are already tuned into, and then choose differently. Because when you stay with a frequency long enough, it starts to feel natural. Your body responds, your thoughts begin to match it, your actions follow it, and then one day you call it your life, you call it reality. So when you imagine something you want, you're not chasing it, you're aligning with it, you're allowing yourself to feel what is already available to you now. So imagine freely, not to escape your life, but to choose it. Tune gently, stay where it feels good, and watch how your reality begins to match the frequency you've been holding. Your beliefs are like the internal settings of your radio. They determine what frequencies feel normal to you, what feels believable, what you even allow yourself to tune into. This is why two people can hear the same idea. One imagines it effortlessly, it feels exciting, natural, obvious, and another person hears the same idea and cannot even picture it. It feels far, unrealistic, almost impossible. It's not because the reality doesn't exist, it's because their bodies won't let them tune to that frequency. Imagination doesn't create outside of belief. It moves with a range that beliefs allow. So when you struggle to imagine something you want, it's not a failure of imagination. It's simply showing you where your beliefs currently are. And this is where your power is, because you don't force your imagination. You gently expand belief. And as beliefs expand, your imagination naturally follows. If you believe in human unworthiness, guilt, and imperfection of the human species, you will have ideas of illness, poverty, lack, disunity, etc. So the imagination will follow, painting dire mental images of a particular condition. To you, it will just seem like normal thoughts and images of your children sick, you sick, your parents struggling. And within that scope, you'll have ideas as far as your beliefs can go, all living in poverty, and you'll just perceive it as reality. But on a very conscious level, you're imagining these things into existence. So if your beliefs are rooted in fear, limitation, or unworthiness, your imagination will paint pictures that match that. Not to harm you, but because it is doing exactly what it's meant to do. You don't have to fight the imagination. You don't have to suppress those thoughts. You simply bring awareness to what they're showing you. And then choose again. As your beliefs expand, your imagination softens, it opens, it begins to show you new possibilities, health, ease, connection, abundance, and over time, what once felt unrealistic becomes natural to you. You can use your imagination to move ideas in and out of your mind in the direction you desire. But many people try to change their thoughts without first looking at their beliefs. And I want you to really see this because you're someone who is aware enough for this to click. For example, you may be feeling unwell and begin to say to yourself, I am healthy, I am well. Yet, even as you say those words, in your imagination, you still see yourself going to the hospital, taking more medication, getting worse, and then you say your thoughts are not working. But it's not that your thoughts mean nothing. It is that your imagination is still faithfully following your beliefs. And if you look a little deeper, you may find that you have accepted the idea of deterioration, that the human body must fall sick, decline, and eventually break down. And because you have seen it and accepted it, your imagination reflects it without question. So even when you try to think differently, your inner images remain the same. And this is where your true power is, because you do not need to fight your imagination or force new thoughts on top of old beliefs. You simply become aware of what you have been believing and begin to shift it. And as those beliefs begin to change, even slightly, your imagination naturally follows, bringing forward new images, light up possibilities, and a different inner world that begins to feel more aligned. And when that happens, you are not just helping yourself, you are choosing something better for your life and contributing to a more conscious and expanded way of being for everyone. We've all seen the blind man walking through his day, moving with ease and precision, guided by his cane as it sweeps gently from side to side, helping him sense what's ahead and avoid obstacles without hesitation. Now think of imagination as the blind man and the cane as the beliefs you hold. Because imagination does not lead on its own, it follows. It moves within the direction your beliefs allow, giving them form, motion, and expression in your inner world. You cannot imagine beyond the scope of what you believe to be true, because imagination is what brings your beliefs to life. It is the very movement that translates them into images, possibilities, and experiences within you. We are always using our imagination. We just think that when we are imagining nice things, that's the only time we are using it. But even in the pain, we are using our imagination. Because what is imagination really? It is the mind forming images, scenes, possibilities, and that doesn't only happen when you're sitting down trying to visualize. It's happening all the time. When you worry, you're imagining. When you fear something happening, you're imagining. When you replace something painful, you're imagining. But because it feels heavy, because it feels familiar, you don't call it imagination. You call it reality. And now you begin to see there isn't a moment where you're not imagining. So it's not should I imagine or not. You already are. The real question becomes, what am I imagining and why? Your imagination is always active, but it is always guided by what you believe to be true. So if you're imagining pain, fear, loss, it is not because something is wrong with you. It's because something within you believes in that possibility. Now you understand. You don't need to control every thought. You simply become aware and gently choose what feels better. You are always imagining, in joy or in fear, consciously or unconsciously. The only difference is whether you are choosing the frequency or repeating it. Now, your imagination is completely within your control, and everything you will ever experience begins there first. Yet many people have been taught to see imagination as something childish, something unreal, a place for fantasies that could never truly happen, and in doing so, they overlook one of the most powerful tools available to them. Because the moment your attention is pulled away from what you are imagining, you begin to live unconsciously, and anything can shape your inner world for you. So imagination is not weak, it is simply underused. And when it is left unattended, it continues to move, forming images, scenarios, and outcomes that you may not even want, yet you call it reality because it feels familiar. And I want you to really see this because you are way too aware to live that way. You are someone who can gently direct your inner world. And when you allow your imagination to expand in ways that serve you, you begin to regain clarity, direction, and true influence over your experience. Not by force, but by consciously choosing what you allow yourself to see, feel, and become within. More importantly, surround yourself with people who can imagine beyond what you currently see, or at least have people who are aligned with where you are going. Because who you allow into your space matters more than you may realize. And I say this with so much love. If no one around you is expanding your imagination, gently begin to open yourself to new environments, new conversations, new perspectives, because you deserve to be inspired. If all you hear are the same stories and the same cycles, you may find yourself staying in the same place, even when you deserve more or desire more. And I know you're someone who desires more. Through your imagination, you pick up ideas from the people you surround yourself with. And those ideas quietly shape what you believe is possible for you. It is in your imagination that you build a home before you ever lay a brick. that you meet your ideal partner or replay the loss of one, that you see yourself thriving or staying where you are, expanding or holding back. It is there that you aim high or aim low, where ideas are born, paintings are created, and visions are either built or broken. And the beautiful part is that this space is truly limitless. And the more you begin to use your imagination in ways that serve you, the more it begins to support you in return, like a muscle that you train every day. Because you are not here to let your current reality define what you can see. You are here to gently expand beyond it. And whether your reality is already beautiful or you're reaching for something more, you can let your imagination work for you. And in doing so, you're not only elevating your own life, you're contributing to something greater than you. Your imagination will always show you how you see yourself, your limitations and your freedoms. It is the mirror of your inner world. And in that space, you are able to see yourself as you truly are, or at least as truly you believe you are. And I want you to use it gently and often, because you are someone who can do this consciously. You can even look at your past and revisit old images, not to relive them, but to understand how they have shaped you, and then rearrange them, soften them, allow new meanings to form, because you're not here to create by default. You're here to create with awareness. So in all that you do, add a little conscious imagination, because it changes everything. And when it comes to the people you bring into your life, especially your partners, choose those whose imagination sharpens yours, whose way of seeing expands what you thought was possible. Because every form of partnership carries influence. In your friendships, your work, even in how you guide your children, encourage the use of imagination as a tool for creating a life that feels aligned and fulfilling, because this does not just benefit you, it expands outward. I read somewhere that it's through this weapon that we can wipe out poverty, misery, injustice, and persecution. And this can be done in a single generation. Imagine that. We have it in us. Create a beautiful scenario for yourself, even in simple moments like when you're sitting at your desk, driving, walking. Let it make you smile through your imagination. If it helps, write it down and give it more life. And even if you feel like there's nothing to be thankful for, imagine something that is, and let it make you feel good, because your mind responds to what you give it. Use your imagination to step into another person's shoes and ask yourself if you'd like to be treated the way you are treating them. In this space, you can tap into your best life or your worst life, and both are available now, shaped by how you use your imagination. Even your past can be softened, as what you call failures can be reimagined into something that supports you. The more aware you become, the more your imagination begins to guide you, and you see that this is where new ideas, new paths, and new ways of being are born. And you are more than capable of using it to serve you. Geniuses are born out of imagination. And while many only access it in moments of pressure, you are someone who can choose to use it consciously at any time. And the more you do, the more it begins to guide you toward a life that truly serves you. Personally, I set time every day to pay attention to my imagination. Even if it's just 30 minutes, I close my eyes and allow it to show me beautiful, fun, and expansive scenarios. In that space, there are no limitations. I go as far as my beliefs allow me. I see what I want to see, and I become what I want to become. And I want you to know this is real, because so much of what I've created has come from there. Amara's voice was first imagined, and as a storyteller and a poet, all of my work has always emerged through my imagination. The nature of us, my well-being, the uplifter, rain, the garden, and so many more all began in that inner space. And if this is possible for me, I know it is just as possible and available for you. For the way you choose to see through your imagination shapes not only how you experience others, but how you experience yourself, and it becomes a reflection of something far more beautiful. And I want you to remember this. You are already using your imagination every single day. The only question is it serving you? Because if it isn't, you're not lacking ability. You're simply using one of your greatest tools in a way that does not support you. And I know you, my wonderful listeners, are people who can choose differently. Through my imagination, I have known when to talk and when to remain silent. And through it, I have learned to see the source within the people who come into my reality. I see them as vibrant, joyful, powerful, and magnificent. Through my imagination, I see my inner being, and I see your inner being. I see people living in alignment with self, having such wonderful beliefs that make them stay in their joyful natural element. I'm Amara, and I'm pondering for the love of pondering. I love you all. Focus on feeling good